You are a self-proclaimed high school dropout. What was school like for you?
Done your research. So
Yeah.
high school for me, yeah, I just didn't gel well with school at all. It was never for me. It flooded my brain every day, music, music, music. So I found it very hard to concentrate, and I would often find myself just skipping class and being in the music rooms. My music teacher at the time, like she was one of the heads a year, and she knew what I was up to. She knew I was skipping class in the music room. She let me get away with it. But then, yeah, it just got to a point where I was on tour a lot when I was younger with an old band I was in. Kind of thought I was this cool kid. I didn't really need school. Um, and I ended up just laying in all the time after like late nights at shows. And then I'd skip exams and like they'd call my mum, like, your son's supposed to be at exam. And
So looking back at that now, let's say older and wiser, would you
yeah,
still make those decisions all over again?
yeah, I don't know. Quite like to be a space engineer. So
Oh
I probably have to,
no.
if I could do it all over again, I would have stuck school out. I would have
Yeah.
gone to college, gone to university, studied to be an engineer, and gone off and yeah. I mean, I think getting a job at NASA is pretty difficult, but I'm space obsessed. Like I'm literally space mad.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like the non-successful, non-famous, ultimately like failed version of Tom DeLonge, I think.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I'm space obsessed. So if I could do it all over again, I would definitely stick school out and yeah,
Yeah.
engineer.
It's a hard one, isn't it? Because like school doesn't make it easy, I
No,
think. I think like you've got to fit into that box. And I do think things are slowly changing. So I think
yeah.
it's quite hard that when you have a passion that doesn't always align with what's going on at school. And I
Mm,
think take my hat off to you actually that you kind of still pursued that rather
yeah,
than kind of sticking in that box.
yeah,
But then again, hindsight, if you do want to be an astronaut and go into space with Tom DeLonge to find aliens,
yeah.
you
You
do
have
kind
to
of
go to
need school.
university and stick school out. Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
can't be a school dropout. I mean, maybe if you got the right contacts, but yeah,
Like Buzz Aldrin's great great grandson or something like that.
something like that. Yeah, exactly that.
So your new single Daylight is absolute and utter perfection, by the way. So Jaret from Bowling for Soup has said, I've never heard anything like this before. This is new. I'm blown away.
Mm.
Can you explain to anyone who hasn't heard it how you describe your music, but also the creative process?
So I would say demographic wise, straight away, anyone that's a fan of Linkin Park or Bad Omens or the new Bring Me the Horizon is probably going to gel with our stuff quite quick. Um, it's rock, it's hard rock, it's pop, it's metal, it's new metal, it's grunge, it's electronic, it's literally everything. Um, and I know there's loads of bands out there that say they sort of, do the multiple genre thing, but I genuinely feel like the Heartless sound is super original.
Mhm.
Like Jaret said, he's never heard anything like it before. I don't know if that's down to our guitarist production. He does all the production. He's insane. He's so talented. I don't know if it's down to my weird, quirky voice, but there's something about our sound that I feel so proud of because it is very unique. Um,
Mhm.
I think for me, we're almost like a 21 Pilots, but a lot heavier in the sense that,
Mhm.
like it's a very distinctive sound. Um, and the creative process side, yeah, I write everything with my guitarist, who is our producer, and
Mhm.
he mixes everything, masters everything as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm literally gonna be at his today later on as well. We're together all the time, just writing, recording, stacking up songs, and then we compile them all together and decide which ones are gonna get released, which ones deserve music videos, which ones deserve DIY content, which ones are TikTok songs. There's always a plan, there's always a strategy, but we're completely independent, self-managed, by myself, and yeah, always on the go, always on the go.
That's the thing. When I first heard Daylight, it was like I was listening and it was like, oh, okay, so this is like a certain genre.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like there'll be like this beat drop and it's like
Mm,
something completely different, but
mm,
it's not stressful. Like sometimes when artists try to do that, it can be a bit stressful because you kind of know what you're listening to and it changes.
yeah.
You've got this way of making that change without it being stressful. And it's like magic. It's
Thank you.
amazing. I love it.
Really
I
cool. That's
love
a
it.
nice compliment.
So your up and coming EP Blood Moon, that's out this Friday. What can listeners expect? from Blood Moon?
So Blood Moon EP is a storyline, and it starts in reverse order. You've got the end of the story, track one, middle of the story, track two, and the origins, track three, sorry. So yeah, it's in reverse order. It's the story of a vampire on a journey through vampirism. Track one is boss mode. It's the end of the story. He's come to terms with being a vampire. He's the ultimate vampire boss. Track two is coming to terms, and almost the similarities between accepting one's fate and coming to terms with your situation that you're in, the situation you find yourself in, which is also something that people would be able to relate to in their everyday life. We have to come to terms with situations and certain mindsets. And then track three is the origins of the story, which is becoming infected, which is Hive, which came out last. But yeah, with the EP itself, expect to hear a lot of heaviness, but also a lot of softer sounds, a lot of piano. We've even got some orchestral sounds, some violins. There's so much creativity in this EP. There really is like a lot to unpack, and I feel really proud of the EP in that sense, that it's not just songs blindly thrown into a project. Like, it's really well thought out, and yeah, something for everyone in there for sure.
I'm literally holding my hands like this in excitement, listening to that. Like, that sounds so good. I mean, it's probably because, goth, we love vampires and stuff like that. But
100%.
I
Me too.
love that. And I love that there's a story behind it. And also, I think like that's kind of like my jam. I love like hard music, heavy music, but I love the balance with softer sounds. So I'm super excited about this, me doing like the T-Rex sounds. I'm really excited about that.
Thank you so
So that's
much.
brilliant. So
Yeah.
if you could go on tour with any band, who would it be?
So up and coming wise, I would probably say someone like Nevertell from the United
Mhm.
States. They're a band that we've connected with. They're amazing, similar demographic, really great music. I can see that working. As far as like major successful bands, like I said, I could genuinely see us on tour with both sides of the spectrum. I could see us on tour with someone like Bring Me the Horizon, Spirit Box, Sleep Token, but I could also see, or Bad Omens, I could also see us on tour with someone like 21 Pilots.
Mhm.
Um, it could work for both audiences, and that's the magic of the Heartless sound. It's heavy enough for the heavy crowd, but it's soft enough for the soft crowd as well.
The
So it's
crowds.
it's best of both.
You've literally found that little gap and you've got in there, and that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's what we've been lucky enough to have a lot of positive feedback. And one of the main things we hear is that we've managed to bridge the gap between the two in a really unique way,
Yeah, that
which is
works.
really cool. I don't even think we try and do that on purpose. I think we either suck at making heavy music, or I don't know what it is. Like, there's just something, like, there's a balance, but I think it's almost subconscious, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you saying that is really funny. had an interview with Casey Lane from Cobra the Impaler the other night, and a bit of advice that he got was literally make the music that you love. Don't
Exactly.
try and fit in with anything. Make
No.
what you love. And he said, if it doesn't work, go find another hobby. But if it works,
Yeah.
and I think you're lucky, you don't have to find another hobby. I think you've got it. Um, so which artists are currently on your playlist?
Oh, I use my phone.
Ooh, go for it.
My memory's terrible. Okay, so currently on my playlist, we've got some Heartless, some Bring Me the Horizon, especially that song that they've just dropped with Aurora. Is it Aurora?
Hmm.
Is it I don't even know how to pronounce it, but that's my favorite song on the whole album. I've got some Rain City Drive, I've got some Sleep Theory, some Architects, some Spirit Box, some Health, Bad Omens, Linkin Park, Sleep Token, bit of everything. Yeah, bit of everything. That's pretty much it, and loads of those bands.
I think you need a bit of everything to
Mm,
have the sound that you produce. So
100%.
what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
The best piece of advice I've ever been given as a musician. Um, yeah, probably exactly what you just said. Just make music for you, and you can always take inspiration, but never try to be like anyone else or sound like anyone else, because then you're going to get ultimately your own sound, and you're going to enjoy it more. You're not striving to be anyone or sound like anyone. You're just striving to be the best version of yourself. And I would say that was the best advice I got.
I think it's funny across the board. I think I read somewhere, I think it was Ozzy Osbourne, he gave, I think, young blood advice. And it
Mm,
was literally, I think it was something along the lines, I don't quote me on it, it's not word for word, but it's just
mm,
people might not get it at the beginning, but
mm,
don't try and change who you are and your
mm,
sound and keep
mm.
going, and eventually they will get it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely
yeah,
spot on. And imagine getting advice from Ozzy Osbourne. That would be awesome.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I think that's absolutely spot on. And actually, I think that's one of my biggest insecurities as an artist is I do sometimes feel like, do people get it? Do people, I think all artists feel like that, right? You kind of feel like, oh, does everyone think I'm like capable? Does everyone think I'm going to fail? Does everyone just watch me on Instagram because they want to see me fail and all this kind of stuff? But like, you know
Mhm.
what? Like I've gone through years of people just like absolutely not believing in me. And then as the years have gone on, just like pushing through and pushing through, I've got these amazing band members joining, and now we've become a band, and like, it's taking shape, and now we're on Kerrang radio and all this kind of stuff. So, I had to go through at least a couple years of people just listening and almost laughing. I don't
Mhm.
think many bands start amazing. I think
No, I
it's
think
taken
it's,
me a while and us a
yeah.
while now to get there.
I think with social media as well, it's everything looks like it happens overnight,
Mm,
and success. I mean, one night it does change overnight, but
yeah,
that one night is years in the making, and it's
yeah,
self-doubt and it's doubt you have other people kind of almost saying out loud your own insecurities, and
exactly.
you just got
Yeah.
to keep going and chipping away
Mm.
and chipping away and chipping away, and then you're there,
Yeah,
I think.
exactly. And you know what's really nice? I've got to the point now where my skin is so thick, and I'm just at a point where I don't care anymore. I'm just so happy, like with what I'm doing, what I'm making, the music we're making, and yeah, I no longer have those insecurities, which is really nice. I think they creep up time to time. I think that's normal as an artist, but yeah, generally speaking,
Yeah, I think it's
I feel like
human being, isn't it? Herd mentality. Like we're conditioned that we need to be together, but sometimes you have to be on the outside,
exactly. Yeah,
bring everyone else in,
that's it.
make your own community.
Hmm.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I feel all heartfelt. I love that. Um, Finally, do you have any up and coming tour dates, and how can listeners find you and your music?
So, as far as listeners finding our music, you guys can find us at any social media platform at Way Too Heartless. Take the vowels out, HRTLSS. Um, yeah, and as far as tours, we are currently getting ready to tour and to do gigs. But we're waiting for the opportunities, we're waiting for the right kind of offer. Because Heartless has been a thing now for a good solid 2.5 years, right? So we don't want to just jump at any show. We're really biding our time and waiting for the right offer to come through. But we're ready. We're ready to go live. I think we're kind of just going through the process now of like trying to find a good booking agent to represent us.
Mhm.
But inevitably, definitely you will see Heartless on tour in 2025, without a doubt.
And
100%.
where can people find your music and find you on socials? Are you across all social platforms?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, Apple, or every single platform possible, at Way Too Heartless, HRTLSS.
You said that so much easier than I said it on the radio last night, because it's heartless without the vowels, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah,
Whereas I was
pronounced
like,
Heartless.
I was like, HRTLS. Okay, got it, got it.
It
So
is a
yeah,
tongue
heartless
tie,
without the
yeah.
vowels.
Yeah, that's it. Heartless
Um,
about the bells.
that is all my questions, unless you have something you want to say, you want to get out there. It's whatever you want said.
I mean, I don't have any questions, but I'd definitely like to say just, thank you for having me. Charity, and inviting me on. Like, it's really important that we have people like you in the industry, to
Yeah.
gel people together and get everyone involved, up and coming, big acts, everyone alike, and just keeping the scene going. People like yourself, people like Alyx Holcombe. There's some real key figures in rock and metal right now, helping bands, and I think it's great. So props
Yeah.
to you, and thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this interview. I love it when kind of rather than just the questions and it's like question, answer. This is really nice. I kind of feel like I know you more kind of almost like as a person, and something that's really important for me is
Mm,
the people behind the music because I think that's how we build connection.
yeah,
So
100%.
I really appreciate this interview that kind of we could see a bit of you through it and your music. So I
Yeah,
really
thanks very
appreciate
much.
that. Thank
Not at
you.
all. That's cool. All
Thank
good. Thanks for
you.
having me. Peace
That's
out.
it. So have
Take
an
care.
amazing day and I'll be in touch soon.
Awesome.
I wanna
Take care.
taste, waiting in vain. You're meant to daylight breaks like a